We settle for what we know.
Curio, I'm gonna tell you. It's not my mother!
He's just a boy!
Kinda nuts.
You might be scared of him, but I'm not.
It was because of you. You did it. You did this to Mother.
What the hell's going on? His
mean
real family was the club.
you did this, don't you, boy?
Are we not family, Master Travis?
Please promise me that if you see anything weird at all, anything, you run right in the other direction.
What the heck was that?
I don't know, looked like a bloody naked guy crawling across the street.
Do you trust me?
Yes,
She'll be fine.
Travis.
We settle for what we know.
I wrote Roosters 30 years ago. It was a dream I had. I don't know why. I dreamt it. I had a connection that knew a big Hollywood producer at the time. So I put it together, I sent it out, and I got it back unopened with a letter saying they couldn't read it because of legal issues or doesn't accept unsolicited material, something to that fact. Anyway, so I forgot about it and threw it in a box, and that was it. Fast forward 25 or so years later, my father was putting out a bunch of books. He's an author, and I just got done putting on a musical, looking for something to do. He says, well, why don't you put that book out that I wrote? And I was like, what? Oh yeah, Roosters. Well, I think it's in a box somewhere. I mean, I don't have it, but he was able to find an old floppy disk of it, made it somewhat coherent, and put out the book. I believe that was around 2015. Then a year later, he was turning a lot of his things into scripts. He says, well, why don't you turn that into a script? I said, okay, sure, why not? And at the same time, I fell backwards into acting, and I was in a lot of television programs, 2016, 2017, something like that. And I learned a lot. I watched them how they did it. I did a lot of those episodic crime shows, and they were able to shoot this whole hours program in, a few days. Still never thought anything of it. Sent the script out. I didn't even think about it. He sent it to a bunch of places, some festivals, and he sent it to Cannes for a contest. And I was like, well, why would you do that? I mean, I can't compete with the world. Forgot about it. And that summer, happened to be going through some emails of an email he doesn't use, which happened to be the one he used to submit the script to Cannes, and turns out we won first place for thriller suspense. So we knew we had a story, but still never dreamt of, doing anything with it. It would cost $100 million to shoot that script. So I said, well, yeah, okay, that's great. And went about my way, acting, and then we fooled around with it. We said, well, why don't we shoot some episodes of little scenes, some of what could have been in the book. Eric and I shot some clips right before the pandemic. We were shooting. I remember we were going to do another scene. It was right before everything was closed down. And that hit, it closed down the industry. My television shows were canceled. We had nothing. Found myself sitting in this studio wondering, well, what do I do now? And I said, well, I watched them do it. Why don't I see the mechanics and how to release something? So I put out Sustainable Life with Unlimited Transformations was my first one, and it was picked up, and it's still on a lot of streaming platforms. Anyway, I said, oh, okay. But didn't think much of it. And then the industry started to come back, and I was having so much fun shooting films and making films that the acting was like, I love this. I did my little Ghost of Somerville documentary series. Then I dove back into a feature with the HID, and I wanted to see what that was like to cast real professionals and to get that out. And then I did that, and that was done. That was last year or so. And then I was tired. I was like, well, you know, this is too stressful. I'm just going to do my little documentaries and just have fun. And it was December of last year, and Brenna was over at the house, our now project manager, and I was showing her some of the old clips that, you know, in 2019 that we shot for Roosters. And she got done. She said, well, I want to know what happens next. And it was like a lightning bolt went off. And I was like, you know what? I want to know what happens next too. And I just turned 60. And here I was saying I could never do this. It's too big. Yada, yada. And I said, well, why don't you take some of your own advice and just do it. Find a way to just do it. And so that's what we all decided. We're like, well, yeah, let's just shoot it. And I'll figure a way how to do this. We started, or started the thought process. And then I was on a lunch duty. We do lunch duty for our kids. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? I wish I had a farm, a big farm. And Allie, who was now our costume designer, was standing next to us. And she says, well, I have a horse farm with an indoor arena. You could use that. And I was like, now we have something. Now we can do it. The style on how we shot this was for two reasons. When I was a kid, I remember watching Dark Shadows, which is a soap opera. And I remember seeing things like that. I remember watching Saturday morning creature features, very low budget, black and white. We had a black and white TV well into when color was out. We still had it. It was old, it was tube, and it would have a certain look to it. And so, for nostalgic reasons, I wanted it to look like I remember sitting on that shag carpet. What inspired me, what I was really amazed by. So I wanted to capture that look, very low budget, the old black and white, that tube TV black and white where it's very high contrast. You had to like adjust the contrast to get a decent picture. It was very smudgy, and the whites are whites and the blacks are blacks. And I wanted to recreate that, and the sound as well. I wanted it to sound authentic. This is not a cinematic masterpiece. This is not meant to be a feature film. This is meant to be a soap opera, a series, like as if it was shot in the late 60s on a set. I love to do things, recreate things. There's no green screens. There's no special effects. It's all handmade stuff. It's you know, movie projector screens behind the cars so you're driving, because I love that look. I love the idea of that style of play-like entertainment. It's a set. There's scenes. I grew up on Masterpiece Theater, which was, you know, that would have a B-roll to establish where the scene was, and then it would jump to a scene. That's the purpose of it. This is what I wanted. This is on purpose to make it look like this. And the side effect to that is we get to do this very cheaply. We shoot with multiple cameras. A minimum of 3 cameras are rolling at once. So everybody has a camera. They can act to each other like they were on stage. My background is music, and I was always considered the one-take person. I loved the first take that when you recorded something, you captured the mojo. I don't like to sit there all day and get things perfect. So I like to capture feel, and that's why I wanted the actors to be able to act. Not your typical movie set where they're cut, all right, now move the cameras, now we'll shoot you. I wanted them to respond, react, and always be in character, not knowing if I'm using that shot or not, which I think makes it very exciting. There's no rehearsals. We show up and go. The kids might work something out, before on a Zoom or something like that, because they're in class together. So I figured, why not? And then, but we don't rehearse. We shoot, we set up a bunch of cameras, we do a few takes. Usually they're the first takes that are the keepers. We're able to save a lot of time. The look is this is straight out of camera. I manipulate these cameras to look like this, so it's recorded as I'm not editing this. I'm not doing post-op to get this look. This is the look that comes out of the camera. We use the consumer grade cameras for the look. The cinema cameras are the B and C cameras. They're too good. So they're backups, they're shots we don't get, the shots that these cameras can't do. But for the most part, what you see out of the camera is how it was shot. That's what you're getting. I love that. To me, that's playing on stage live. You go for it, and that's why it looks that way. And with the sound, I wanted it to sound authentic. Like I remember seeing those films, you could hear the room. For example, during the scene where Travis sees his dead father walking in the field, it was extremely windy. And normally the industry would use something like this and then wrap it with this, what they call a dead cat. I didn't do that. I was down at the beach. I'm sitting on the beach, the wind is blowing, and I noticed when the wind would blow past your ear, it would sound like this. I wanted to have that fluttering sound as it blows across your ear. If you're in a real windy situation and the wind is blowing at you, that's what it would sound like. And I wanted to keep it real. Another reason I love that shot, which was unbelievably just happened, he sees his father. He glances up and he sees the ghost, the spirit. And at that same moment, a dark cloud comes over the sun and you could see it slowly come across the field. Not planned, just happened. I think we've lost a lot of that feel today. We've gotten used to the stories being told so perfectly. We've gotten used to too perfect or expected, or I don't know what, but we lose authentic feeling. I want the audience to experience this like they were sitting in the room while we shot it. Like you were at a play. You're in third row of a play and you're watching this performance in front of you on a very limited set. Everything is fake. They're all props. I believe in story and performance, not special effects and title graphics and how great it looks. I don't have time for that. I'm not a cinematographer at all. Don't claim to be. I'm a storyteller. I'm a filmmaker, and I'm doing what I can with my limited budget, no crew, black and white, low budget looking, dark shadows meets Knots Landing type of program. High drama, some little bit campy, a little bit ridiculous. That's what a soap opera is. But also horrific stuff. I mean, the scrotum pull. I mean, there's cannibalism in this story, which we don't dive into in the pilot. But it's hardcore stuff. which is very difficult for me to write. The relationship between Travis and his father, because I have nothing to draw from, because my father's my best friend. So that's the most difficult. The creepy stuff is easy and fun. We have no problem doing that. We're doing the book, the story. I changed it a little bit, obviously. In the book, the boys are young. We made the boys young adults. All the kids are young adults. Instead of the old man in the general store. Could I shoot that script? Sure, but I don't have $100 million to do that script. So I needed to shoot it it worked out to shoot it like a play on small sets, just scenes to take the story through. The first season will be the book. We're going to insert a few extra things. We're going to go back in time to the origin of Roosters in the 1700s. We're going to jump around. But the first season will be that. And we don't even have all the characters. The audience hasn't seen Nan yet. The audience hasn't seen Jeffrey. So there's so much more coming. We're so excited about it. I can't be more thrilled with the people that are involved. The actors are a true blessing. I mean, the talent that I'm getting to work with is amazing to me. Everyone takes it very seriously. They're into their character, and I give them the freedom to explore their character. Yes, there's a script. I manipulate each scene, each script from the original script to make it fit them. There's no casting calls, there's no auditions. I look at someone's reel or know what they can do, and then if I get to a Zoom call with them, I'll watch them speak, I'll see how they move, and that's how I do it. When Nick came in, I was looking at Nick to play another part, and he emailed me and said, oh, I have an emotional connection with this. So that was it for me. I was like, well, then he has to be Travis.
Whatever power you say that I have, I don't want it. I want none of this. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get out, and I'm gonna leave this place once and for all. Yes, I'm going to be all right. I plan to get out of this place sooner rather than later. And I suggest you do the same.
He's very dedicated. We would discuss it late night, text messaging or emailing, different ideas about the character. Really brings everything to it.
That's not my mother!
He is going to be a phenomenal star in his future. And there's no question about it. I said, well, you're in class with everyone. Is there any of your friends? He said, yeah. And he said, I have Liz. So Liz came in to play Sonny, and they knew each other, and they worked beautifully together because they have history. So I was like, this is great. She's very glamorous. She reminds me of an old Hollywood movie star type of look. She brings that innocent yet very glamorous feel to the character of Sonny. Plays it perfectly.
Maybe we've both been meeting the wrong people. Yes. Travis.
And how about a Sam? He goes, well, yeah, my friend Patrick. And then Patrick came in, and we were just all blown away with how everything just fell together. The first scene with Liz and Patrick, I had no idea what to expect. Patrick is English. He's got this thick English accent, British accent. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to write this character. And he said, I could do a Texas accent. I'm like, well, okay, we'll see what happens. Shows up, monitors on, mics are rolling. And they just blew us out. We're all standing around like, oh my. And that's when I also knew when he was speaking, I was like, he needs to narrate this, at least part of this, because it was that good.
That loser? You sure know how to pick him, sis.
Hey, I thought he loved me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he loved you, all right. Loved you and all your girlfriends. Loved him so much he ran off with one of them in that new car you're so kindly still paying for.
Oh, shut up. What do you know? Besides, I'm glad he's gone. You know, whatever it took to get rid of him, it was so worth it.
You're right.
Hey, you know, my Prince Charming awaits me. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah, well, and he's gonna bring you a big pot of gold and we'll all live, what, happily ever after, right?
And it's all been a surprise. I don't really know what to expect. When Allie wanted, she said her husband wants to play the mayor. Okay, well, the mayor's a small little part in the book. What can happen? So he shows up on set and he just blew my mind. He is phenomenal. He could have his own horror show. I mean, the mayor.
Oh my, is she not well?
She's fine. We're just getting her ready for a long-term care.
Don't underestimate that bird. She's a strong woman. She'll be fine. Now hold on tight. What are you? There you go. Good and tight.
He's that good. Linda, of course, which I was in the hit.
Something's different. I don't know what it is. Something feels really different, though.
Super talented. I knew immediately she was going to play my wife, which we don't see much of her in this pilot, but it's coming. Dee, who plays Sissy, was also in the hit.
Hopefully, if you want to just, stay tuned, I'll be trying to give, as many...
We improvised a lot, and it really shows her talent.
They found her, burnt crispy bacon in the bathtub. And I don't know about you, but I don't know a whole lot of people that accidentally get drugged up and accidentally take a bubble bath with a toaster.
And Mike, absolutely beautifully. I mean, I couldn't even explain how to play this butler of the secret society in 1974 for a creepy, campy soap opera, and he shows up and just does it, and the handlebar mustache is real, and he just plays it exactly how it should have been played. There is no direction. I just let him go.
Well, you may think we're beneath you, but remember, Roosters is in your blood. You may be able to leave it, but it will never leave you.
And it's a real thrill to have my son and my father part of the project. My son, who played Billy Shire in The Hid.
Open the door, Marla.
Billy?
Marla, open the door.
And now he's playing young Travis. We're having a lot of fun together doing it, and have my father to play two parts. He's Jerry Harwood, the radio announcer. He's also going to play Judge Kinderman, which was actually a character from The Hid, but I like to intertwine things. And he comes to a gruesome demise. We make him into a scarecrow, but to have my family involved is a real pleasure. I've been blessed with all of these fine, superb talent that I couldn't dream of. Everybody puts in their part, and that's how I treat this. It's always a rock and roll band to me. That's the way I've always been. It's always very tight. I trust everybody. They trust me, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And we just flow. We just go with the flow. If something changes or somebody drops out or can't do this, how do we do this? Okay, well, we'll do it like this. You know, every step of the way, it's like we were going to shoot this, ended up had to do it like this. And it came out so much better. The train scene was supposed to be, it was so hot we couldn't do the location. It was so hot we could not use the arena because the horses had to be in the arena. It was during the heat wave, summer. So I was like, well, how am I going to do it? So then I decided to make it more of a dreamlike thing, and that they stay in the theater together on their date, Travis and Sonny, and I love it. It's spookier, it's creepier, it's more psychological. And I really love that. I love to just give little tastes of what it could mean. That's kind of the way this whole thing has happened. It could not have happened without the help of everyone involved. And definitely could not have happened if it wasn't for my father pushing me to write the book in 2015 and pushing me to put the screenplay out. And so a lot of magical things came together to finally get Roosters off the ground. We could really dive into what really goes on around us could be Roosters. And what was inconceivable when I originally wrote the story 30 years ago, now is not only can happen, I think it is. So, welcome to a new kind of rock and roll band, Roosters. And we'll clamp speed.
Ready?
Yeah, we're in action.